Welcome to the Dating Unsettled show where we dare to date differently. This is that special kind of episode. It's the one you love. It's Unsettler requests, baby. Oh my God. The audio is absolutely horrible. Okay, let's work on rendering those. But this is Unsettler requests. This is where I answer your questions that you send in to me. Some of y'all have been DMing at Dating Unsettled or messaging me, JoyOfodu, personally. You are welcome to do either. I love taking these. It's been a while because our episodes have been so juicy. You can listen to Dating Unsettled wherever podcasts are found. I think a lot of you are listening on the Apple Podcast app or Spotify. So shout out to both of those platforms and shout out to you, Unsettlers. Dating your best friend. Yeah, it's a joke. It's a big joke. You're a joke. Just kidding. But yeah, basically the question that the Unsettler sent in was something to the effect of like, Joy, can you talk about dating or going for your best friend? Would love to know your thoughts on that. I think this is in a heterosexual context. I hope that this advice applies to people beyond that. So, I can't speak to dating your best friend when you're both queer because I feel like the gender roles of being the woman who's interested in her male best friend are very particular. And very frustrating if you're anything like me and you're the type of girl that's just like hoping he notices you, which is like what every single freaking television show of our youth taught us. If I seem avoidant around this topic, it's because I am. I really didn't want to answer this question. I don't want to talk about this. It is something I have considered. It's a topic that does not bring me too much joy because I think there's a lot of pain in it. There's a lot of misunderstanding, whether you're watching a TV show or you're living this in real life. I feel like there's a lot of misunderstanding that happens between girls and their best friends. And even just the social dialogue around like, can a man and a woman be just friends? Like that stuff really bothers me. I hate listening to it. I get really tired of it. I think to put titles on people like, oh, this is absolutely a love interest. This is absolutely a best friend. This is a brother to me. We've done things like that and we've been wrong. Ladies. We've been very wrong. So it all seems short-sighted. I feel like I'm speaking like Yoda. Oh, short-sighted it is. It all seems short-sighted, small. And when you actually do start getting into matters of the heart and like what a best friend is versus just a friend versus a love interest versus a crush, like we're just using words to try to describe it. But these experiences can actually be really deep and really confusing. So whoever sent this to me, looks like you've been watching too many rom-coms. You believe that it's possible. Just kidding. I like to infuse you with hope. Joy, why do you sound so jaded? Maybe because I am. This topic for me is something that maybe we can cover with a little bit more distance, research, budget, investment. Like this is something I actually do want to bring different people from my life in on and talk about and talk through. But the long story short is, because this is an Unsettler request episode, not a regular length, we shouldn't speak on this for 35 minutes. Long story short is that the first thing you're probably thinking about, and that most people think about, is losing your best friend, right? You wouldn't be asking me if this was an easy thing to do. You wouldn't be asking me if you felt like you could just hit up your best friend and be like, hey, you want to date? It feels like you are venturing into territory that you cannot retreat from when you start not just flirting with, but when you really like make a move on your best friend. And I think the issue of having a best friend who is attracted to the gender that you are, and for you to be attracted to their gender or people who look like them, is sometimes it all feels like fun and games. Like y'all are always joking, you're always punching their shoulder, like, you're always laying, you're grabbing little treats for each other, like the things that friends do. And at what point does it become not friendly? And so when you're trying to determine, like, does this person like me? I feel like I've been putting out signals. Everybody defines flirting very differently. I literally, y'all, if you can't see what I'm doing off screen, I'm like picking my nails, trying to just find something for my hands to do because it's just a tougher topic than I thought it would be. The first question really though is honestly about losing your friend. And my basic philosophy on the matter is not to let things fester in your spirit. Someone once told me something to the effect of like, I can't let my heart catch fire. Something very poetic like that. It was someone I did not have feelings for. And I was like, that is an interesting phenomenon. When I feel for somebody, my heart catches fire. And if you're anything like me and you're feeling for a best friend in your situation, then it's tough because you might feel like you are burning up, not in the Jonas Brothers way, in the bad way. You feel like you've got this feeling that is wrong because of the nature of how you and your friend have labeled the relationship, and trying to venture into something more with this guy or more with this girl or more with this person. It almost makes you sick because it just feels off. off. I think it's okay to let yourself feel. If I was in your situation and I was reflecting back, or I had the opportunity and it's about a best friend, it's okay to let yourself feel the full range of your emotions. And if the question on the table is, am I going to lose this person? Then perhaps that's what was meant to happen. I think friendships and relationships are ephemeral. You know, this idea that they are absolutely lifelong and forever, I'm okay to let go of. I do believe in long-lasting friendship and I do believe in long-lasting love, but must it be everlasting? Maybe not. Just like every relationship, just like every dating app scenario. So when you look at your best friendship and you consider, okay, here's the value that I get out of it on a platonic side, here's the value I'm getting out of it on just like a, flirty side or pushing things into a romantic energy. If you start to feel like, you know what, I'm catching fire, I'm catching flame, like my heart feels so overwhelmed with emotion for this person and I'm not getting to share that with this person and it's driving me nuts. It's driving me crazy. It's making me act differently towards my friend. It's making me act jealous towards my friend. It's making me act shy or nervous or just I'm not able to be myself with my friend because I have these feelings. My personal opinion is maybe just nuke it. Maybe just blow it up. Maybe that's what your friendship needs. That's what you need. I do encourage you to be a little selfish. If I was in your position, I probably wouldn't be as selfish. Like still examine, is this a good time for you to be asking your friend if they want to push things further? What's going on in their life? How are they going to receive these feelings you have for them? Because they might, and it's not totally unfair. If you have feelings for a best friend, male, female, anybody, gender, throw it around. If you have feelings for a best friend, they might feel like you have been keeping that from them and that might be the reason for the proximity or the reason for the friendship. And that's where things get really weird. So if you are moving on somebody that you consider a best friend, hopefully y'all have enough trust and foundation that if you were to reveal your true feelings, this person's not going to freak out that the reason that you are around them or you are together, or you are bonding is because you had this secret hidden agenda and you really wanted to get with them. Like hopefully they're not looking at it that way. So just make sure that your friendship has that foundation before you even begin to broach the topic with somebody. But the next thing that I would say is like, if you are moving to make that confession, if you are the one who's been carrying feelings as deep or as light as they are, deep or as light as they may be, if you're the person with the feelings and you're about to share them, divorce. Oh my God, I always hit the mic. Divorce and divest yourself from the outcome. Because I feel like the pain gets really deep when you sit with feelings for your best friend for a long time and then you just present it to them. You just kind of spring it on them or it all comes tumbling out in some unfortunate way. And you've been harboring this fantasy. You've been harboring this possibility, you little romantic. I mean, I'm proud of your creative skills, but you got to watch out. This is a real human being we're talking about. The person, the best friend that you have feelings for, they've got their own tasks and life and mission and vision and goals and energy and agency. So if you've projected or kept some sort of secret little fairy tale of everything working out the way that you believe it will, that's where I think you're going to get in trouble because you're setting yourself up for heartbreak. I think it's amazing to envision that this person that you care so deeply about could actually be like your life partner. That's really dramatic. Like that they have the potential to be your partner or to date, especially if y'all have been flirting, you've got some signals. That's awesome. But just know that like you're on a plan and on a track and you have got divine interventions happening. And so does that person. So to believe that it's just going to work out because you want it to, or because you can love them enough into it, or you care deeply enough, like that's where I invite you to have a little bit of healthy skepticism and divest yourself from the idea that as you've been feeling your feelings, your friend has been feeling the exact same thing the same way the whole amount of time that you've been feeling them. Does that make sense? I know it sounds like I'm trying to dissuade you from shooting at your best friend, but I'm not doing that. I also won't be responsible if you do shoot and it all blows up in your face. But I'm not trying to dissuade you from going in. I'm just encouraging you to be like healthily skeptical about whether or not they return your affections so that the mission becomes, let me be honest with my best friend, because that's what best friends owe us. Let me give them my honesty, my clarity, my affection, my care, and reveal to them this other side of myself that is, I feel romantic towards them. And I won't put any pressure on them or any timeline on them to meet me where I am, but I'll just let them know how I feel and invite them to, when they feel comfortable, reciprocate or reject. Reciprocate or reject. Because that's what's going to happen. Or they might stew on it. Guys have this really irritating habit of saying thank you when you express your feelings. This could be guys you're dating, could be friends, whatever. You tell them how you feel, they might be like, wow, thank you. Because there's this trope of like guys are oblivious. So just be aware that it may not be like a clear green or a clear red. You might get oh, thanks. And that is pretty much a no. Like, I'm not saying it is 100% a no because they might have a change of heart, but just like consent, if it's not affirmative, enthusiastic, and ongoing, I would just slowly start to back away from the idea of being romantically connected to your best friend. I hope that helps. Because honestly, you and your best friend might be meant to be. It could happen, but you're only going to know this if you communicate with each other. If you stay in your little castle where you've been dreaming about this and pining and feeling these feelings, and you never tell your friend, then they can't know. They can't participate in the dream with you. I think it should be like you should introduce it to them in kind of like a fun way. It doesn't, oh my God, don't promposal it. But do it in a way that you know your friend would appreciate. Keep it light. Give them the ability to walk away, which is, I think, really important. So like wherever you are telling your friend, make sure you've got their focus, make sure you've got their attention. It's not before a big game or a big trip or something else going on in their life, but just kind of an average day, find some time. If you're like me and you are the type of person when you have feelings that like they come tumbling out and it's so heavy and it's so blah, 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 you don't want to like barf all of that onto your friend. Maybe try practicing saying it out loud a couple times, or the phrasing, or writing it down, like that's literally whatever helps, but rehearse a little bit so that when you do speak to your friend, you're like, okay, calm. I'm not saying that there's ever going to be a perfect time. So it could literally be a random Tuesday, it could be tonight, it could be next week. Breathe before you do it. If you feel really amped up and adrenaline is like coursing through your body, this may not be the time to nuke a really valuable friendship, potentially the most valuable friendship. I think something that could also make it hurt less is just looking at friends in a different way. So people say like, Joy, should I shoot at my best friend? All people are their own main characters, and some people matter in your life, but to rank one guy or one girl or one person above all others in your life and then have people kind of on tiers, I think is very murky territory, very dangerous. I would invite you to open your heart to all of your friends, all of your romantic connections, like really start to think about everybody as being valuable and not one person as being this like golden goose, golden egg type of person in your life. Because I think if you're starting to have romantic feelings, the unfortunate part is that you already have built this person up to be super high in your head. You've built them up to be strong and funny and smart and sexy and capable and I don't know, well-meaning and generous and like you have all of these thoughts already about your friend, even if you weren't interested in them, where you're like, oh yeah, like that's my person. Like I love that person. I'm connected to that person. So the issue is that like the love that you feel might already be there, and then you're starting to attach romance to it, but it wasn't built in the right pillar. So I think like a misconception is that going from, because I've heard from other girls too, have been like messaging me, they actually tried this, going from best friendship into relationship and thinking that all of the love that was built under the friendship is just going to copy and paste and automatically transfer is, it's, oh wow, our sound today is brilliant. It's unsettling is what it is. Thinking that all of your love is going to transfer might put you in a tough place. You need to build a relationship with this best friend, if it ends up working, underneath the romantic pillar. You all might need to throw away a lot of your ways of interacting and recycle and start again, not just carry on the way that you were before. So if you're thinking that, he already likes me this much, or she's already feeling me like that, what's it to them to just now like be a little physical, or what's it to them now to just add a little bit of this on top? That might be really tough for them. It might be really tough for you. A romantic partner is not a best friend. I think that there are, when people say, well, can guys and girls be just friends? I think there are things that we do with our romantic partners we absolutely would not do with our friends. But in the same vein, my romantic partner, for example, has become like my best friend. So what I mean by this is don't think it's going to be a copy and paste. Don't think that if you've already reached 85% or whatever of intimacy with your best friend, that you're just going to add on that extra 15 and lock it up. Once you tell them this information, they might look at you a brand new person. They might look at you with new eyes, and you all will have to rebuild that intimacy and start again. So just be ready for that. I think also make rules the same way that you would in other relationships, because as opposed to a dating app situation where it's maybe not quite appropriate to ask this person, oh, are you dating other people? Are you planning on going on other dates? Like if you've made your feelings known to your best friend, you're going to have to allow for some wiggle room, because they might be dating somebody, which, oh my God, that's unsettling. I hope y'all not shooting at your best friends in relationships. If you are, God help you. God save the queen. Hey, there's nothing I can do for you at that point. All this advice does not apply. You just bold. But know that if you are shooting at your best friend, there's going to be like a weird period where if they've already got people that they're talking to, if you already have people that you are talking to, the intimacy that you both share is going to disrupt how you feel about these other dating and talking stages. It's not going to feel like a regular dating app situation. You've known this person. You might see this person every day or every week or talk to them all the time. And now there's going to be that awkward like ball in your throat of like, okay, and you have a profile on a dating app and you're going out with these dudes, you know, or, I remember you had that little situation. So, you know, you guys might even be talking about dating and now suddenly that becomes like a topic that's off the table. So just be ready for that weirdness, and be really clear with your best friend what you expect. You know, like obviously give them some time to digest the surprise if you think it's going to be a surprise to them. Be clear, like, hey, you know, I think we should set up a boundary where we don't talk about our dates. I think we should set up a boundary where I don't hang out with you and this girl for this reason, or blah, blah, blah. Or I kind of just give you some space, or hey, I would really appreciate if you would just let me figure it out with so-and-so before we kind of continue this conversation. Like whatever boundaries you and your best friend need, create those and make them very clear. Because if not, then you've revealed your feelings. They have either accepted, rejected, or your feelings. If they've rejected them, you might need some time to nurse your wounds. If they've accepted them, you need to decide how you're going to proceed to date this person. Are y'all going to start going out? Is he going to ask you out? Are you going to ask her out? Or how are you moving forward now that you have the information that your best friend is also potentially romantically interested in you? And if it's in a meh and you start to see them dating other people, that might hurt too. So just know that that is possible. If your best friend says yes, I'm so glad you told me. I've been waiting to hear this from you. This is crazy because I've been feeling the same way. Then baby, you're in a fairy tale, a wonderful fairy tale. That's not to denigrate it. Like I literally mean it. And I want to hear all about it. I want you to message me, with how it goes and just tell me about it because that's so exciting and wonderful. If your best friend kind of gives you meh, I'm sorry. Because meh doesn't feel great. Meh feels like rejection. Meh can hurt because you might feel like you are somebody who's worth someone being sure about them. And meh is not that. And it might be a little weird. And you might lose your rituals and you might lose your habits and you might lose the parts that are just normal to you both of just being friends and being buddies and kicking it. And if that happens, that's a bummer. But it doesn't mean that the friendship is over. It doesn't mean you need to let go of this person. Like, you know, nurse your wounds, heal, date other people, date around, be mature, and like, hopefully you can keep it pushing with this person. You telling them that you're interested and they give you meh does not have to be the end of the friendship. If they reject you and things go well, I am so happy for you because it means you have somebody who's truly there for you. They had no ulterior motives either. And it's likely you didn't. And you're still connected to that person, even though it didn't work out romantically. And you shared something super deep, super tough to broach or to try. And you're still able to stay connected. I think that's beautiful. And I think that's wonderful. So if they reject you and you stay friends, I'm thrilled for you. That's one of the best possible outcomes because you did not let your heart catch on fire. You revealed how you felt. And it just turns out that you weren't each other's piece of pie. And that's totally fine. If your best friend rejects you and it creates pain for you, an awkward situation, or they even abandon the friendship, that's a possibility. But I want to encourage that it's not the end of the world. It actually reveals a lot. I'm not encouraging you to test your friendships, but it reveals a lot if you were interested in somebody and you just shared your honesty with them and they couldn't hold it. I'm not saying that this makes them a bad person. You know, we all decide what we're comfortable being around. But if you found out that this friendship was built on something thin rather than something more sturdy, or this friendship was meant for college and not for now, or this friendship was meant when you two were in the office and it's not for outside, great. That's something that we applaud here. Yeah. Okay. That's something I'm happy about for you. All right, Unsettlers. So that's my take on shooting at your best friend. I think that if you got feelings in your body, you should find the right time and you should release them, and right time for you, but also right time for that person, because that's maturity and that's not as unsettling. And I hope it goes well. Let me know how it goes if you shoot at your best friend based on this advice, and send me more Unsettler requests at Dating Unsettled. All right, talk soon. Good luck.